Hi everyone, and welcome to the section where we're going to talk about folding paper to represent multiplication problems with fractions. Well, before we start talking about fractions, let's review what we know about whole numbers. So, for example, if we wanted to multiply 2 times 4, well, we have a couple different ways to physically represent 2 times 4. In other words, 2 groups of 4. Well, one of the ways was with an array model. So if I had 2 rows of 4, it would look like this. And so that we can see that 2 times 4 is equal to the 2 rows of 4, which is 8. Okay, well, we're going to do the same thing, or the same idea, but with fractions. Well, remember we had our fraction circles and our fraction rectangles? Well, I'm going to switch from working with the circles to working with the rectangles. And to do that, I'm going to use paper. So we can think of this as one whole, just like we had the square represent one whole in the fraction rectangles. And so what we want here is 1/3 times 1/4. In other words, 1/3 of a group or 1/3 of a row times 1/4 in each row. Okay, so what I can do is take my piece of paper, and we want 1/3 of a row. So we're going to divide that into 3 equal rows. And so this right here would be 1/3 of a row, and this would be 1/3 of a row, and this would be 1/3 of a row. Okay, so we only want 1/3 of a row, so we're going to get rid of these 2 rows. Okay. But this represents 1, right? Because this was 1 by 1 for 1 square. But we only want 1/4 in each row. So we fold this so we have, 4 equal columns. And so this would be 1/4, this would be 1/4, and so on. Okay, so if we only want 1/3 of a row, so instead of the whole row, we only want 1/3. So I'm going to get rid of these. But we only want 1/4 in each row. And so, this is 4/4, so we're going to get rid of 3/4. And so, we're only left with this much. Well, how much is that? Well, we know this was 1 square, but we divided it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 equal pieces. So this would be 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, and 1/12, and so on. So 1/3 of a row and 1/4 in each row would equal 1/12. Okay. Well, I have some pieces of paper here that are squares, so I can show you how to fold the paper instead of just looking at the picture. So we want 1/3 of a row, so I'm going to fold this into thirds. So it'll look something like this. So there's 1/3 of a row, and we want 1/4 in each row. So fold this the other way into 4s. I'm sorry, that's my dog playing with his nylabone in the background. Okay, so 1/3 of a row. So we're going to get rid of these. So we can just get rid of that. And then 1/4 of a row. And so cut that into 4 equal pieces. So we're going to get rid of those. And we just have one of these pieces that are 1/12 in size because we have the 12 equal pieces. So 1/12 would be our answer. Okay, well, let's take a look at a slightly different problem. So we want to find 2/3 times 3/4. Well, once again, we would fold our paper into thirds, but this time we want 2/3. So this would be 2/3, and this would be the 1/3 that we want to get rid of. And then 3/4. So we fold our paper into fourths vertically. And so 3 of these would be 3/4, and this is the 1/4 we want to get rid of. And so we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these pieces. So we have 6 pieces that are 1/12 in size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each one is a 1/12 in size. Well, we know 6/12 is 1/2. So the answer would be, 2/3 times 3/4 is 6/12, which is equivalent to 1/2. Okay, to show you with the paper, I would fold the paper into thirds, but we want 2/3. So there's my 2/3. And then we would fold our paper into fourths, but we only want 3/4. So there's my 6 out of 12 that make a whole. So 6/12, which is the same thing as 1/2, because we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that we folded under, that we hid. So 6 that we folded under, 6 that we kept. So we kept half of them. So 6/12 or 1/2.